That's shaking big. Make it 4 in a row for the Edmonton Oilers. They get the job done in LA. 3-2 win in the shootout. Tom Gazzola with you. Shawn Belle also joining us shortly, as well as YouTube Trev, right here on the Oil Stream post-game show. Hello, everybody. If you want to get in on the conversation, you know the routine. You can text us 780-218-9999, or if you're watching on YouTube on our EST channel, thank you, as always. Get in on the nasty chat as one does on this Saturday night, heading into the new year. The Oilers picking up their 17th victory in a pretty crucial Pacific Division showdown. Yes, they leak one away to the Los Angeles Kings, but the Kings played a pretty good game. The Oilers had a rough start. I thought the Kings dominated that first period. The Oilers pushed back in the second and in the third. Actually, I thought the Oilers were the better team in the third period for sure. Back and forth in OT, and then the shootout. A couple of saves from Stuart Skinner, and then the Oil managed to convert. Who had Derek Ryan for the shootout winner tonight? Whoever did, brilliant choice. They get it done. All right, let's get Bellsy in here. Trev, excellent. There he is. There's our boy. Shawn Belle, ready to rock and roll. Bellsy, just really quickly before I get into the scoring summary and the game stats and all that, thoughts on the Oilers getting that win in LA, a building that has been pretty kind to them, but the fact that they do get the 2 points and your assessment really quickly on that.
Well, I thought it was really big for them to get the 2 points, especially at the way that they started. I honestly wasn't sure if they were ready for the level of an intensity that the Kings came out with, that battle level that they had. Like it was a playoff game, essentially, so to speak. And the Oilers, luckily, they were saved by good goaltending.
Yep.
And then they figured it out in the second and the third period, and they were the better team. They dictated the pace, like we talked about in the pregame show.
Yes, that was number one for you on Game Changers. Bellsy, you know a thing or two about this sport, don't you? I would say more than a thing or two, but you nailed it, buddy. You nailed it. We're going to go into the breakdown here. The Oilers and the Kings, first of 4 meetings this season. Edmonton gets the better of the Kings 3-2. Let's go to the scoring summary. In the first, Kevin Fiala on the power play. This was a nice goal. Overcommitment, Bellsy, from the Oilers on the PK there. I think 3 guys went in, and then Fiala was left all alone. I think it was Janmark that was the lone guy back up high, but too much space, it seemed like.
Yeah, there's just 4 guys puck watching, right? At the end, 3 guys were basically went and tried to pressure the puck carrier. Janmark is sleeping a bit backdoor, and he just got it. He finds that quiet area and boom, in the net.
Yeah, that was a nice one-timer. Kempe and Doughty, the assist, 1-0 Kings at 14:44. They would add to their lead. Adrian Kempe, his 12th of the season. Great shot, man. This guy can fire the pill, that's for sure. Kopitar and Byfield picking up the assist. 2-0. LA, that goal coming at 18:49. The Oilers, Bellsy, when they didn't get their first shot until I think like the 11-minute mark, somewhere around there, and it was just a soft shot from the point from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on Cam Talbot.
Yep.
What was your assessment of that first period from the Oilers? They got outshot 11-2. One of those shots was that one that I just talked about. The other one, I maybe a McDavid play. I can't remember necessarily, but I was like, uh-oh. But your thoughts after that first period?
Yeah, the first period for me was just it was a tough period because LA came out blazing. Mm-hmm. And they were physical, they were fast, they were on the forecheck, they were throwing basically everything and the kitchen sink at the Oilers. And there was an intensity to that game that they brought to the table because they wanted to set the tone. Drew Doughty talked about it in the intermission. He said, hey, we remembered losing to this team in the playoffs. This is 2 years in a row that we've lost to this team.
Yep.
We want to show that we can beat them. We want to beat them. And so they came out with that intensity. And the Oilers, I don't think were ready for that intensity. And it showed. It was, what was the shot? 16-2 by the end of the end of the first.
Yeah,
Something like
11-2
that.
officially, and then I think the Kings got
11-2
a few.
officially.
They got a few more in the second, and then the Oilers
Yeah.
started to wake up.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
they started to wake up, right? By that time, but they got some big saves, which is what they needed. We've come on here way too often talking about the Oilers needing a save. Well, they got saves. Stuart Skinner held them in. He played fantastic, and he was able to basically allow them to have a second life, so to speak.
Agreed wholeheartedly. He made some great saves tonight. We will touch on that a little bit after this scoring summary. In the second period, Connor McDavid gets the Oilers on the board, his 13th of the season. Belle, they also snapped that 0-for-11 stretch that they've been on the power play. Nugent Hopkins and Bouchard, the cheeky little play where from a bad angle pops it in off of Cam Talbot's mask. We've seen McDavid do that when he identified. He actually tried it twice on that shift, and the second time worked. That goal coming at 5:35 to cut the lead in half for the Kings. And then Leon Draisaitl, I thought this was a really nice play as well from McDavid. Draisaitl's got 16 goals on the year to make it 2-2. That goal coming at 15:29. Belzy, the shots on goal after 2. The Oilers piled on 13 to the Kings 7 in that second period. So you had it at 18-15 in favor of LA. It seemed like Edmonton decided to start playing big boy hockey in that second period.
Yeah, as soon as they scored that first goal, you could see the energy start to get into their bodies, into their legs. Like they started moving, they started chipping pucks. They were winning races, and they were physical. They were responding to that battle. So it was good to see that they finally woke up. But it took that goal for them to get into the game.
Yeah, totally, and more big saves from Stuart Skinner as the second and third period progressed. Actually, in the third period, even though there was no scoring, Shawn, I thought the Oilers really dictated the pace like you described in Game Changers on the pregame show and were the better team. What were they doing? Did you notice quick ups? Remember we were talking about how to break through the 1-3-1, and it seemed like the Kings were frustrating the Oilers in the first period. They break through a little bit in the second period. Is that what it was, just quicker on the transitions, or was it more?
Well, I thought that, in the second and the third period, they were a little bit quicker with their transitions. In the third, it was a tie game, and neither team wanted to really trade chances. The Oilers were 100% dictating the play. There was a number of sequences where, they were a little bit slower. They allowed guys to change and then regroup. But every single time that they did that, LA just broke out, right? It was very easy. Actually, on the Kempe goal, which was a second goal, that's exactly what happened. They allowed them to break out. They chip it in. All of a sudden, they got possession, but it was quick on the defense. Turnover, gone in the net, right? So it was very interesting to see kind of that cat and mouse game. But once they started turning pucks up quickly, getting back to the forwards' hands, like they put a lot of pressure on the LA defense, and that's when they started to really dictate the pace of play.
In the shootout, let's get to the breakdown of the shootout where the Oilers managed to get the job done. Trevor Moore, beautiful goal. McDavid responds with a goal of his own. Adrian Kempe also scores. I got all of this on Instagram story of YouTube Trev like freaking out watching it. Like it's if you follow me on Instagram, check it out. I'll try to repost it on the Edmonton Sports Talk account as well. But Kempe scores. Trev freaks out in a bad way. He sees Nugent Hopkins hop over the boards. He's like, "Oh no, that's not what I wanted." And then Nugent Hopkins buries, and he goes, "He never does that. He did something else." And then Grundstrom gets stopped. Draisaitl gets stopped. Kopitar stop. Derek Ryan, like we all called it, picks up the winner in the shootout. Shots on goal, 28-26 in favor of the Kings. Face-offs pretty much even. The Kings slightly edge the Oilers, 50.9% to 49.1. Power plays both go 1 for 4. So Edmonton's PK goes 3 for 4. And then, 23 hits for LA to 16 for the Oilers. Block shot 16 for Edmonton to LA's 12, and then officially 8 giveaways for the Kings to 6 for Edmonton, 5 takeaways for the Oilers to just 4 for the LA Kings. The end result, a 3-2 Oilers shootout victory. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle, YouTube Trev with you here on the Oil Stream post-game show. Get in on the action, 780-218-9999, or via the nasty chat if you're watching on our YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the EST YouTube channel, do that, please and thank you. Get the notifications, smash that thumbs up button, all that good stuff, Bellsy, like we like to say. Let's get to our first text. Mary, hello, Twitter Mary, good to hear from you. Derek Ryan with numerous clapping emojis. So proud of our boy, says Twitter Mary. Hello, Twitter Mary. Thank you for the text. Liz says Nuge is goalie of the year with that save. Sometimes you need a little help when you're the netminder. Trev was freaking out, Belsey. I was like, uh-oh, this might be trouble. But Nugent Hopkins
had that quick glove hand.
Right? Had the quick glove hand. Also comes clutch.
No, it was
in the shootout. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good to see. Like they collapsed to the net. I thought that game was over, and then all of a sudden, boom! There's Nugent, his glove just sitting there. He pokes it away, and they live to fight again. It was a really good effort. Second, third, OT. It was impressive to see.
From EA says King's playbook was to shoot a high on Skinner. Skinner was ready for the challenge and answered the test certainly. Another one was a text comes in and says Skinner was the star of that game. He stole the first period and arguably the game. That's what I wanted to get to, Belsey. We've had a couple texts come in about Stuart Skinner, and you and I have talked about it, whether it's been on this show, whether it's been on the Hangout, whether it's been on Hello Hockey when we reluctantly speak about the Oilers. The Oilers get did Stuart Skinner pull off the steal ya a game tonight? Can we classify that one as a steal ya a game from Skinner?
I'm going to classify it as a steal game.
Okay.
Because if Stuart Skinner's not playing in that game, this game's probably 3-0, 4-0.
Yep.
By the end of the first, and it's over.
Yep. So
he comes in, he has some big saves. He's solid in net. He looks composed. There's no massive rebounds. He was awesome in net. Mm-hmm. And he gave the Oilers life. He gave them the ability to keep it close. Then they woke up in the second period, and then here we are. They win the game, and you don't do that without Stuart Skinner.
Yep. 100% with you on that one. Displaced Duke Honor, I think, is as well. Bellsy says, can we say Stewie stole a win? First time in forever. I can suggest that. Well, Shawn Belle agrees wholeheartedly with you. Displaced Duke Honor, so do I. YouTube Trev, what say you? Stolen game from Skinner? Yes? No?
Yeah, I think so. He made huge saves early on, and he was decent in the shootout. I think he was okay, but early on he stood on his head and
just say it.
Just lights out.
He stole it.
He stole it. Yeah,
he did. We're classifying this one as a stolen game for Stuart Skinner here on the EST Oil Stream post-game show, 780-218-9999. Fat Dan says, Kings looked like a far superior team in the first. Agree wholeheartedly there. But Oil figured it out. Great win. Where the Skinner haters at now, says Fat Dan. Jasmine, hello, Jasmine, says, I'm legit going to bring a bottle of wine and watch it with Tommy and baby YouTube Trev. It's a long night. Also called the win and the under, boys. Yes, Jasmine texted in later in the pregame show, said take the under tonight. She got it right. YouTube Trev's not old enough for wine yet. Are you?
Yeah, I can drink wine, Tommy.
I'm kidding, buddy. I'm kidding.
That's thanks for that, Jasmine, by the way.
Okay.
With that beard, he might have to be able to drink beer.
Wow.
Drink wine, sorry.
Yeah. What is this? A Pinot Grigio?
He looks so distinguished.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
I'm not Grigio.
I should be the one drinking the wine, actually.
Yeah, there he is, sifting it. Just like that, Belsy. Just like that. Ken Texan says, guys, Derek Ryan gets the shootout winner. I would never had seen that coming. I was a little bit surprised to see Derek. We've seen Derek Ryan, I think, a few times in the shootout before. What, in your opinion, put on your coaching hat, Belsy, gives Knobloch the confidence in putting a Derek Ryan out there with the game on the line against the LA Kings?
Hey, sometimes guys just have it. And, you do shootouts in practice. You watch guys, you see the confidence that they have, and Hey, Derek Ryan clearly likes that spotlight. Like, it's not the first time, like you just mentioned, that he's been in the shootout. So clearly he's got a little bit of he's got a little something there.
Maybe it's a U of A bias.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
Just that U of A Golden Bears alum, hey, just supporting each other.
Sticking together like they do. Although it is great hockey, and they have had some tremendous people come through that program and continue to run that program. A bit of a down year for them, right, this year, but I'm sure they're going to be just fine and bounce back. Bad Billy in with this one says, so nice to see Ryan get that winner. He took a beating tonight. Love his work ethic. Hey, Belsey, what would you say about Drew Doughty tonight? He was yappy. He was physical. He was trying to get in on the offense. He was forechecking at one point. I liked that game from Drew Doughty, and I'm sure it pissed off a lot of Oiler fans.
Oh, I definitely think that's what Drew Doughty does, and that's what's made him a household name. Like, he plays the game hard. I mean, he hits that were really, really good. I mean, the one on Hyman, he basically decleated him. He was up. He was making good shots. He was all over people. That's Drew Doughty at his best. Prime Drew Doughty, that is him. And, the Kings are lucky to have a guy like that. And clearly he wanted that game tonight.
780-218-9999 is the number to text us if you're listening via the TuneIn app or on our audio stream on our website. We always appreciate that. And if you're watching, get in on the Nasty Chat on the YouTube channel. Let's see a couple of nasty chats here. Materi says, TG, Pinot Grigio in the box, LOL. Yes, I could see YouTube Trev going for that. I'll have your finest Pinot Grigio, please. Sorry, Trev. I know.
I'll get your finest box, please.
I'll take your finest box with a nice spout that pours consistently. Duck Dad says the specialist, Derek Ryan, Prosecco for TG. Wine is great, but it's not bourbon. Ooh. What did you call this earlier today? We were talking about this weekend that falls between Christmas and New Year. I called it like the free space on the bingo card where people can get after it. Like, I felt like it was the thing to do last night, probably again tonight. Then you got New Year's Eve tomorrow. But Belsey, you had a way to describe it this morning, which was, I thought, brilliant.
I said it was low-key the best week of the year.
Yes.
Nobody cares about work. Everybody wants to get drunk. Everybody's still in the holiday spirit. Hey, pour that drink.
Sip it. Sip it. Guzzle it. Whatever. Just don't drink and drive. Be safe out there and mix in a water. Jason in Leduc via the Nasty Chat says that second goal could not have hit the post any further outside without coming back out. Perfect shot by Kempe. Skinner is not a reaction goalie. He relies mostly on size and positioning. Jason in Leduc, I agree with the size and positioning, and I think that's about 97% of goaltenders nowadays, Belsey. I was telling Trev about back in the day when you and I were growing up, and probably a lot of our listeners and viewers, where you saw a lot of Ed Belfour, Curtis Joseph, Dominic Hasek, Patrick Roy, Marty Brodeur, guys like that, Felix Potvin, that it was anticipation and reaction as opposed to positioning and legit just being big and blocking. And kind of to Jason and Leduc's point, like, no, that's not Stuart Skinner's game. That's not Connor Hellebuck's game. 97 or 98% of these goalies nowadays don't play the old school style. They are blockers. Literally, they're just there to make blocks, and they don't make reaction saves. I think that's a pretty safe assumption, right?
Yeah, like, these guys are so technically sound. Like, you don't want to be moving side to side like crazy, like, some of these old school goaltenders were, and they relied purely on athleticism. Like, there's a lot of guys that are ultra athletic goaltenders because they're so technically sound. It makes them look like they're just blockers at the end of the day. But let's be honest, that shot was such a missile that I'm not sure which goaltender would have been in net would have stopped that thing. Like, that thing jumped off his stick.
Yeah. We're talking about a 40-goal scorer here, too, in Adrian Kempe as well.
100%.
And then Kevin Fiala is no slouch either offensively, and when he gets a crack on that one-timer, like, He had it teed up for him. I mean, and I think, I can't remember who texted in earlier, but they were going high on Stuart Skinner. EA texted in earlier saying they were going high on Skinner. But, man, they had to have some perfect shots. And then even Trevor Moore on that shootout goal that he scored, that was, I mean, Bellsy, it didn't even look like he was watching Skinner. It was like he just went in, he knew he was going to do something, and he just zinged it perfectly. Like that's the beauty of Trevor Moore. I think he's a great player, having an excellent offensive season. All right, I'm going to get to a couple more, and then I want to get your thoughts on the Oilers going into tomorrow's game against Anaheim. Do Fish P, great handle, says, hilarious hearing the announcer explain how OT works. Yeah, I guess so. Ryan says, hey, Nasties. Ryan from Fresno. Welcome, Ryan. Welcome to the Nasty Chat. First time in the chat. Big game by the boys. Another great win where they stuck it and stuck to it. Let's go, Oil. The Wolf says, when you watch the replay from the corner camera angle on the dry goal, you see how crazy it really is. 4 LA players trying to stop the McDry connection. And Bellsy, you played defense in the National Hockey League. How do you stop those two when they're flying?
Well, you don't stop those two. I think you try to minimize them, and I think that's what a lot of teams try to do, right? Like they try to extra bodies on McDavid. They try to get extra bodies on Draisaitl. They consistently try to hit those guys. It's hard to stop them when they're both playing. And what I really liked about the game is Draisaitl finally looked on. And when you have Draisaitl going, right, controlling his own line, and you got McDavid on the other one flying around, really, really hard team to stop. So it was very encouraging stuff that you saw from the Oilers. And then obviously you put these two guys together, and when you got McDavid dancing and he's putting jock straps in the rafters, and then you just got Draisaitl sitting there with that paddle that he's got, well, it's going to go in the net more often than not. So it's hard. Thank God I didn't have to play against these guys, because I would have been out of the league a lot quicker than I was.
Oh, Bellsy, those guys have made great players, some of the greatest, look pedestrian at times, and that's just a testament to how good they really are. Okay, this is 4 straight victories, Sean, for the Oilers. They've improved to 17-15-1 in their last 21 games. It is now 15-6 as their record. That is a above 700 clip, just slightly, and it looks like they're on. They beat really good teams in this last month and a little bit. They added to that list tonight in an LA Kings team that has had a very strong season. How do you go forward into Anaheim to try to make it 5 straight victories and to really claw your way back into the mix in the Western Conference here?
Well, I think they call that the trap game, right? So you've got a team that's technically not as good as, the LA Kings and New York Rangers, teams that you've played. It's not going to be as emotional as a game like it was tonight, where you've had to claw back from it. It's a playoff style game. There's a playoff style atmosphere. You go into Anaheim and you've got a team that's a little bit younger. They're in their rebuild. Trap game. And you've got to be able to bring that same intensity to Anaheim and basically, destroy them. I think that's the easiest way to say that. You got to come in and you say, hey, we feel good about the way that we played today outside of the first period. Mm-hmm. We're going to walk into Anaheim with the exact same bravado, and we're going to put the boots to them. And that's when you walk away and you feel really good about yourself going home, and you just keep building. And now you're starting to creep back into that playoff mix.
The Oilers 5 points back of the Arizona Coyotes, who have played 2 more games. Arizona now at 40 points. They've won 2 in a row. Nashville has 41 points, holding down the top wildcard spot. If you're wondering how the Ducks have been lately, 3-7 in their last 10. They lost their last game. They're 13-22 on the season through 35 games. Is it as easy as do what you did in San Jose, or is it a little bit different? Because the Ducks, although they only have 5 more points than the Sharks and 4 more wins than the Sharks, I feel like they're probably more of a challenge than what San Jose brings to the table.
They're definitely more of a challenge, but I think it's not what you did in San Jose. They were sharp in San Jose, but the game that you looked at when you watched them play against San Jose versus what they just did tonight, mm-hmm. Those are 2 completely different styles of hockey. One was some big boy hockey. It was a playoff atmosphere. There was intensity. There was an urgency to the game, right? Like they had that feel, and that's how they played.
Yep.
When they played San Jose, they were sharp. They were moving. You just knew that they were the better team, and they capitalized on all that stuff. So if you can bring that same bravado, like I mentioned, where it's big boy hockey, you're first to the puck, and if you're not first to the puck, you're hitting the guy, you're separating him from the puck, you're turning it over, and you've got urgency trying to take that puck to the net, versus what you're doing in San Jose. Like you're probably gonna handle Anaheim fairly easily, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Anaheim because I think they're a team on the rise, but the Oilers have so much skill, and they're not essentially just looking to win or get that 6th game in a row or whatever it is. Like they're built for the playoffs so that by the time they get to the playoffs, they are 100% playoff ready. And it starts by playing that way, because that is a style that you're going to have to face against the LA Kings. You're going to have to play that style against the Las Vegas
Golden Knights.
Yeah. So that's what you got to do to get out of there. And if you end up going to the Stanley Cup final, hypothetically, guess who you might face? The Florida Panthers. We talked about that earlier today. Like that is a team that's in your face. They're physical. They don't give you an inch, and everything that you do, you have to earn.
Yep.
And if you can play that way now and over the course of the next 40-some games, well, now we're probably having a different conversation come, April.
Yep. 49 to go, Bellsy. The Oilers starting to go down the right path here. 4 straight victories, looking to make it 5 tomorrow night to close out the calendar year and inch even closer to a playoff spot in the Western Conference. As always, my friend, great work today. Split shift for all of us here, and absolutely crushed it as per usual. We'll see if Cass is okay. He's still sick and under the weather. Are you guys busy? Are you and Lynn's busy? I know she was feeling a little bit rough, but are you able to be on standby, or are you away tomorrow?
Put me on standby.
Okay. We can do that. Bellsy, fantastic work as always.
We'll see how that goes.
Yes, we'll see how it goes. I'll touch base with
Thanks,
you
buddy.
tomorrow. All right, good night, my friend. That is
Right,
Shawn Belle, our game analyst, stepping in for Matty Cassian. Cass, if you're wondering where the heck he is sick. And Bellsy was dealing with it earlier this week. Same stuff. And his wife isn't feeling great. Lindsay, get well. And Cass, the bug's been running through his family. So Cass, get better. Rest up. He's hibernating like a good bear does. And hopefully he's good to go. If not, Bellsy should be ready to rock. I saw somebody in the nasty chat saying, get Mr. Bell on here more often. I agree. Loomis says, Tom, do you have a warm-up phrase to get your vocal cords loose? Ow now, brown cow. No, I don't. I don't have anything. No,
Not that I've noticed.
We just get going. We just rip it. Brett texts in via the nasty chat, says, Tommy, what's your opinion of shootouts? I don't mind not seeing them very often. They're high intensity. They could cause a heart attack for a 25-year-old guy like YouTube Trev. But I'd rather see them extend overtime by 5 minutes just to get it done.
That's definitely the play.
Yeah.
I think with 10 minutes of 3-on-3 overtime would be ideal.
Yeah.
I think that would drop the shootouts percentage even more so than what it is, because you don't see them nearly as much from when it was like 4-on-4. You'd see it quite a bit. Yeah. But I think 10 minutes of 3-on-3 would be amazing. As far as shootouts go, I liked them when I was younger, but no, not a fan.
Well, they drive you crazy. I witnessed that firsthand today.
Yeah, man. They're just so nerve-wracking. And, I just can't deal with it, man. I really can't. Overtime is hard enough, but shootout losses, no, not a fan.
Yeah, I'm with you there. CL says, great job, Bellsy. Yes, sir. Vance Van Der Van and Jack Williams are going to stack these two texts up. Jack Williams says, drunk postgame tomorrow? Sounds good, boys. Vance Van Der Van, who's a big fan of that concept, says the Ducks are going to start trending up now that they hired Eakins to win the Bedard sweepstakes. Plan is done. Vance Van Der Van, I see what you did there. I feel like you've had a few beverages, as one does on a Saturday night in the middle of holiday season. 780-218-9999. YouTube Trev working on getting some audio and video for us. And then we'll get to more of your texts as well. The Oilers with a big victory in LA. I think that's a good mental boost, too. I mean, I talked about how they've beaten some good teams lately. I think of the win against the New York Rangers. That was a solid victory. That was also a come-from-behind win the night before in New Jersey, a come-from-behind victory against the Devils team that a lot of people expected to be higher up in the standings, but it's still a good, respectable club. Maybe going through some growing pains right now, but 3 of your last 4 wins and games are digging yourselves out of holes. And listen, like a couple of those were just like 1-goal deficits, like New York. And tonight it was 2. Got the saves from Skinner. We declared it a steal game. Maybe it's the first of the year for Skinner, but that was a solid performance from Stuart Skinner for sure. Made some great saves. Yes, as EA texted in earlier, the MO sounded like or looked like, from King's point of view, was to go high on him. They got a couple by him, 1 in the shootout, but he was equal to the challenge the rest of the time as the Oilers make it 4 wins in a row. This was one of 9 games on the schedule. Tonight was also Connor McDavid's 600th NHL game. He picks up a couple of points, give him 997. 500. 897. You have a microphone. Use it.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't.
How many points?
897 points.
897. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself saying he's going to get to 1,000 here. 897 with those 2 points tonight. Thank you, Trevor.
I got you.
I know you do. Good team. Shake and bake. 9 games on the sched, like I mentioned. Let's go through the out-of-town scores, get you up to speed on what happened around the National Hockey League. Earlier in the day, Winnipeg doubles up on Minnesota 4-2. Buffalo 3-2 victory over Columbus in overtime. The Bruins 5-2 winners over those Devils I was talking about. Florida, like Belzy said, look out in the playoffs for Florida. 4-1 winners over Montreal. Pittsburgh doubling up on St. Louis as well with the 4-2 final. The Rangers smacking around the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-1 in Tampa. Carolina 3-2 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Man, the Maple Leafs 3-4-3 in their last 10. Lots of goaltending issues. Talking about sending their starter down to the AHL. Where have we heard that before? By the way, Jack Campbell got the win tonight against the San Jose Barracuda for the Bakersfield Condors, if you're wondering. Nashville 3-2 winners over Washington in the shootout in Washington, and then the Oilers wrap up the night with 3-2 shootout victory as well. 780-218-9999. I almost gave out my number there. Whoops.
You don't want to do that,
No, I do not want to do that. Let's go into the nasty chat and the text line. Get to borrow your thoughts. We want to hear from you. What did you think of the Oilers' overall performance? Did you think, and do you agree with us when we say Stuart Skinner stole one finally for the team? And how much do you put into the fact that Edmonton got a win against the Kings, a team that's been trying to beat them for the last couple of years but hasn't been able to, has had a great start to the season? Edmonton goes into LA, hostile territory, eliminates, nullifies, erases a 2-goal deficit, and then gets the job done in the shootout. How much of a confidence boost is that, in your opinion? We want to hear from you. Joel says Campbell looks like a Wolverine. I like that. I get it. Cody says extend overtime, no exiting the offensive zone once you enter. Yeah, like the over and back rule in the NBA and basketball in general. I understand that. Evil Twin says he's had too many beverages. Let's go. 6:20 tee off New Year's Eve. Halfway house got me started. Oh, you must be somewhere warm, Evil Twin. Enjoy the round, unless you're going to that's got to be somewhere nice and warm. Maybe in the Phoenix area, perhaps Palm Springs, like a lot of Albertans like to do, or maybe Mexico. maybe Mexico. Jibo says, big boy hockey by the Oil in the last half of that game, and such a stellar performance by Skin Daddy. Kudos to the coach for calling the doctor in the shootout. G on D. Jibo with that one. Thanks for the text, Jibo. Hontario Momes. Hello, Hontario Momes. Says, get Boone Jenner to play with Kane and keep 71 as a winger for 29. That's what you spend a first on. Belzy, who was on today, loves the idea of Boone Jenner. That would be a tough get, but I like it as well. If you could find a way, that would be a great third line center. Let's go into the inbox. There's a bunch of texts that I didn't get to. Everyone's feeling it tonight. I appreciate that. It's an easy one to just not bother with. Late start, Saturday, holiday season, New Year's Eve tomorrow. But here you are with us.
Very chill vibes right now, and we're here for it.
I'm here for it. Yep, 100%. I'm with you on that, Trev. This text says, I'm calling it Oilers third in the Pacific by January 31st.
That's a bold take. I mean,
that's a bold take. I like it.
I don't mind the idea of them being third in the Pacific by the end of the year, maybe, but I don't know, by the end of January. That's
keep playing against the Kings? Well, the Kings you don't see till February.
Yeah, that's just tough. Like both three teams they're chasing right now are really, really good teams in the NHL, so that's tough. But yeah, time will tell.
Favorable schedule for the Oilers if you take a look ahead, but one game at a time still for them. And the next one is against the Ducks tomorrow. Get those 2 points. Hey, 5 out of 6 on this trip, let's call it. 6 in a row on the road, obviously split up by the Christmas break. You go East Coast, take 2 or 3 on back-to-back nights. That's pretty good.
It's really good. I mean, all things considered, I mean, they really should be able to beat.
Yes, agreed.
The Ducks. Like
yes, they should.
They did it earlier in the year, 8-2, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure it was 8-2. They start the game like they did in San Jose against the Ducks. It should be a pretty easy win, I'd like to think. But I mean, you don't want to undermine your opponent, and like that's one thing I feel like the Oilers have definitely done in the past. So it's still a hockey team. You got to give them some respect, but they got to play their game, and that's kind of nice about tonight. They played LA's game, I think. It wasn't run and gun. It was pretty sound, and so it was nice to see they're winning games in different ways, and we saw it again tonight, Tommy. It's awesome.
Hey, do you look like a Wolverine? A lot of people say that Stuart Skinner and you.
I don't really know what I look like.
Why aren't we seeing you on camera?
I don't know.
It's just me.
Well, you didn't call to me, so I don't know if I wanted to bring myself on.
You just had a nice little run there. Does
that work? You want me to?
Yeah, get on there.
Okay, let's see. Feast your eyes.
YouTube, Trev. There we go. He's supporting that Hockey Canada. Got the Team Canada jersey on.
Yep.
Hoping for some good juju tomorrow against the Germans. So Germany with the loss to Latvia today.
Yeah, it's surprising. And then they beat Sweden for the first time ever. It's an interesting tournament.
Right? No, Finland.
Or they beat, yeah.
I got
what
you.
it was.
Sweden's cruising 3-0 so far.
Looking real good.
Slovakia, too.
Slovakia, yep.
And then Canada, if you've been catching Spengler Cup action, Canada eliminated today
Sucks.
by Pardubice. And epic collapse. Let's just put it that way. Big Daddy Davos, great call as per usual. He will have the final tomorrow for you. I think it's Davos versus Pardubice or Pardubice out of the Czechia League and the Swiss League. So a great tournament. Bruce, there it is. Maybe not. Didn't last. And epic collapse. Lots of great international hockey. And YouTube Trev rocking the Canada jersey. Very nice, buddy.
Let's go.
Nice.
Have to. Every year.
You Febreze that? Or do you have just the one? Do you have more than one?
I've got like 3 or 4. But I've just been wearing this one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just feeling it right now.
That's okay. You're all good. Looks good. Let's go to the inbox. Eden says, great win tonight. Anyone else notice Draisaitl not skating if he didn't have to? 0 puck pursuits, and he was relying on his passing almost completely. Is his ankle still bothering him? He was sitting during the Derek Ryan attempt. Everyone else was standing. I don't think so. That's just him. I don't think the ankle's I think that's just his demeanor. I think we can all understand, appreciate that. I'll keep an eye on it, Eden, but I thought he was playing well tonight. I thought he had a good game. Smart with his bursts. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Sean says, haha, cheeky play, he says. I see what you did there. It's because McDavid banked the puck off of Talbot's cheek. Yes, sir. Sean, thank you for catching that, my friend. I appreciate that. Look at you smiling. You
I didn't catch that.
You didn't catch that.
Good. That's good.
You've been busy.
I like it.
You're doing things. This text from Ryan in Fort Sask says, probably an unpopular take. That may have been Connor Brown's best game of the year tonight. You know what, Ryan from Sask? I think he did play effectively for once. What did I say when him and McLeod went out there in overtime to you? I was like, oh, look how they're going to score.
Yeah.
Facetiously, obviously.
Yeah, look who the Oilers have got right now. Connor Brown and Ryan McLeod.
They survived.
They survived, yeah.
They survived. Text comes in, says, Tommy, solid draft, great picks, top to bottom. You let Dusty hang himself with his arrogance. Very entertaining. Thank you. I won the Christmas character movie draft and TV draft. Kenworth Kelly says, why is YouTube Trev camera shy tonight? And then also added, I hope Belzy's feeling better. He looks great. Big win for the Oilers tonight. They had to shake the California sand out of their skates, and then they were fine. Big game from Skinny as well. Huge win for the Oil. That one from Kenworth Kelly. We got him on camera. There he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like whenever Tommy wants me to be on is when I'll be on, I think, right? I don't know.
Whenever, yeah, I mean.
I didn't want to just all of a sudden put myself on camera and you'd be like,
I think it's, obviously for the listener.
I like it.
Well, there you go. Yeah. For the listener, it doesn't matter. They're listening. But for the viewers, it's an added wrinkle.
Thank you.
To the show. So, yeah, especially when we're done with, Cass or Gage or Belzy when they're on. It's good to have you on. All right, Reno Texan says, Skinner stole the game, so does he go tomorrow or does Knobloch rest him and put in Pickard? I think Pickard gets the start tomorrow against the Ducks. I'm okay with that. He was solid against the Devils last week. I'm okay with him getting the start against the Ducks. I think that's the way they go. Liquid Beaver also wondering the same thing and then adds, good evening, gentlemen. Nice win. Didn't think it was going to happen after watching their first period. Agreed with you on that. Did you guys notice that the high-pitched whistle every time the Oilers were coming across the Kings' blue line with numbers? I must have heard it at least 15 times throughout the game. Liquid Beaver with that one. Did you catch it? You and I were talking about on the broadcast, it almost sounded like the ambient noise in arena microphones were not
like
hollow.
Muted.
Muted.
It was like muffled. It was weird. The audio we heard was, I don't know, it was a little different, but I didn't hear any like whistles or anything like that.
I know Todd McClellan used to whistle. I can't remember what it was for. He is the coach of the Kings, obviously. So Liquid Beaver, that might have been Todd doing that. And what it signifies, or no clue. But I didn't catch it, and I did note to Trev during the game that just the in-arena mic, however it was picking up, was muted, hollow. It didn't sound like the normal mix. I don't have a refined ear for this type of thing. I could be totally off my rocker. It just sounded different, in my opinion, and Trev and I had a conversation about that today. This text says, too bad the Oilers started slow because they can beat top teams. Love the win. True on the slow start. Kind of seen that a few times against some really good teams, but they finished strong. That's the important thing. They had a very good start against San Jose, but like you mentioned, the good teams is where you want good starts. Although they have had good starts against good teams earlier in the year and just pissed those leads away. This team. Cal in the Park texts in, says, good on the down 9-0 in shots and down on the score clock. Skinner had no chance. Team cleaned up their game, and oops, there it is. Oil win. Thanks for Cal in the Park. Coach Mark says, Bell's audio, can't hear him at all. We got that fixed.
Yeah.
That's the first complaint we've had, Coach Mark.
Throughout, it wasn't.
I haven't seen anything else.
No, it was coming through on my end.
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone else heard too.
So.
Otherwise, we would have.
Yeah, let us know. If there's glitches or audio stuff or video stuff, let us know. Usually we're pretty good at staying on top of it, but there have been some kinks that have been needed to get worked out. I think for the most part, Awanik, Trev, Eric have done a good job taking care of it. But if there's stuff, let us know. Dirty Curdy, hey Dirty Curdy, what's up, man? Says Nuggy with the clutch shootout goal and a big save in OT. Nurse a beast tonight. Defensively was a force and picked his spots on the rush. Didn't mind Lavoie at all in limited minutes. No better hero than the unsung hero Ryan, as well as Brown's Korski/Fensky was tonight with what he's doing out there in OT. Huge gutsy effort in a building/city. We have nightmares in back to 1982. That one from Dirty Curdy. Before we get to some player audio and visuals, one last one. Johnny Neutron. I'm going to take the compliments all day, every day. Johnny Neutron says, great 2023. Tommy looking like an older, wiser Johnny Neutron. That's from Not Fred. I remember Johnny Neutron. Thank you. I feel rejuvenated. All right, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. We've got a couple of players. We're not ready?
Yeah, 1 minute.
What's
One
going
minute.
on here?
1 minute. I was waiting to get all of them and then export them at the same time. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Fine.
I'm sorry. 1 sec.
Fine. Thank you for the text, Not Fred. See what I'm dealing? I'm just kidding. He's great to work with. Timber Woodsman texts in, says, I liked Raphael's game tonight. Another text says, hey, Tommy, great game. Loved how excited McDavid was when Derek Ryan scored. I have been dumping on Skinner all season long. He has been playing much better lately. I still worry about his consistency, but if he can be league average and do it consistently, that's all the team needs. I was never a fan of re-signing Kane, and I didn't think it was a good idea due to the holes on the team. I would trade him at the deadline for defensive help as well as a typical third-line center. Your thoughts from Al. Al, thank you for the text. Appreciate it. Trading Kane, I think if when the time comes to make a move of significance, he would probably be one of the first to be made available. Still an asset, still a good player, but if you had to move a $5 million guy, I think he would be obviously Jack Campbell. That's tough considering. If you get past that and then you have to move another one, yeah, maybe Kane. But he's a playoff performer. He's been nicked up this year. Sounds like groin issue, as Speck was tweeting out earlier in the day. When he's on, he's on. But I still do think, like, if the situation arises where you need to make a move and it has to be a guy with a healthy contract, let's call it, I think he would be a guy you would consider. Let's put it that way. And yes, third line center would be great. I stand by this. Like, listen, McLeod's been playing and performing well, playing on the left side with Leon Draisaitl. I still think the plan is for him to eventually reassume his role as a third line center and play better than what he did for the early parts, first month and a half of the season, really. But yeah, you want an upgrade there. Ideally, he takes that job and runs with it and develops and becomes a better third line center. I'm not giving up on him as a centerman because of 3 or 4 good games on the wing either. I still think that's their plan for him. So that's my thoughts on it, Al. And I think there's probably people out there like, you're crazy. He's a winger. No, guys can bounce back and forth between wing and center. Marc Messier, 80s reference. He played wing for a while. It can happen. It can happen for sure. But he's got McLeod does have the speed, skill, the hockey sense has to get there, decision-making has to get there. Did not get off to a great start, missed all training camp with the injury. That didn't help, but I think if he could put it together, I think he could be a very serviceable, dare I say, good at some point, third-line center in the National Hockey League. Not there yet, obviously. Having a good run at left wing right now. I still think the plan is to have him at center down the road. I don't know when that's going to be. Ride with this until the time comes, and the time comes to move on from this experiment, if you will, unless it becomes a permanent fixture. But I don't think 3 or 4 games we can go, he's a winger permanently. I don't think we can say that. That's just my take on it, Al. Appreciate the text. Last one before we go to some audio. Can we do that? Is that okay,
Yes,
Trevor?
sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, all ready for you.
Mike in Thunder Bay texts in. Hello, Mike. Oilers played LA's tough game. They didn't even have Evander Kane. Massive character win for this team. Mike in Thunder Bay, thank you for that. And I think you can see it with some of the smiles on their faces from what I've seen from the post-game video. Let's get to some of that. Who do we have first, pal?
Up first, we have Connor McDavid after his 600th game play. Here he is.
Tonight would be a battle against the Kings. Can you just speak to how your group battled and how much you fought back?
You know, every time we're in this building, it feels like the exact same game, you know, just rinse and repeat. I mean, it's the same game over and over again, and we know that, and it's a grind. They're a great team, and I thought we did a good job of just hanging in there. Obviously, we didn't like our first period, and just kind of talked about hanging in the game and sticking around, and I thought we did that all night.
How key was that resilience coming into the second period, being able to respond in the way that you did, yes, with a couple goals, but also holding them throughout the entire rest of the game?
Well, I thought our second period was really good. You know, obviously we got ourselves back in the shot clock game. Not that that really matters, but you know, majority of the play was in their end, and found a way to score a couple goals and gave our goalie a bit of a rest. He was, stellar in the first period, and made some huge saves throughout the night. And then I thought the third period was kind of back and forth, and could have gone either way. And happy to get a win here.
When you see Tony. When you see Stu performing the way that he did and how much he kept you guys in that game, does that add momentum to the rest of the group?
Well, he certainly gives us confidence. When we see him playing his game like that, he kind of gave us time to get ourselves into the game. We had a real slow start, and when he's playing like that, we just know we can build a game, and thought we did that tonight.
Did you guys make any changes systematically or effort-wise in terms of after being outshot 16-2? That ultimately turned the table here?
I thought it was all effort-based, like you said. Obviously they play a unique style of game, when you're not prepared to play that way, it can make for a long night. And obviously we saw that in the first 20. And then I thought we did a good job of not being denied and upping our work ethic and keeping it a little bit simpler and playing more into the game that they want to play. And we're comfortable playing that game too. We've showed that time and time again.
I know DR has seen some success in the practices in the shootout. What's it like seeing him score a big one?
I was thrilled to see him score that. I was thrilled. Obviously a big goal. It was his birthday yesterday as well. Big 37. So, just happy for him. He's a guy that brings it each and every single day. Never complains, just does his job and his thing every single day. He's a leader in this room. He really is. His voice carries a lot of weight, and he means a lot to this group. So that was a big goal.
That's 4 straight wins, 14 or 15, I think, out of your last 20 or 21. Did you feel like if you just stuck with it, eventually things would turn around?
Obviously it was a tough start. No question about that. But we felt like our game was getting there, and we felt like it was right at the cusp there when we made the coaching change. And obviously we've been able to play some good hockey and string some wins together.
You mentioned when you walk up game number 600, also assist 581. I know you're not real hung up on statistics. Most guys aren't, but in their first 600 games, only Mario, Wayne, and Bobby Orr have more. Just thoughts on being once again mentioned in that elite company?
Yeah, anytime you're mentioned with those guys, it's you're doing something right. Those are 3 of the game's very, very, very best. So to be with that company obviously means a lot to me. It's not lost on me what that means, and it's a special group.
There's Connor McDavid smiling, says, hey, Derek Ryan, a little birthday present for himself with the shootout winner, and sticking with it. The Oilers get the job done. Big boy hockey, something we've talked about quite a bit so far on the post-game show, and you know what? All of a sudden they've won 4 in a row, looking for a 5th straight tomorrow night against Anaheim, and yes, 15 of their last 21 the Oilers have won. I like this one. Comes in, says that YouTube Trev, this is from Norman at Combine, says YouTube Trev looks like a third base coach giving Tommy signals.
Thanks, Norm. It was I think you were talking about Clouder. You were like, well, 1, and then when you were talking, I was like, I was doing
Were you
this.
Mocking me?
I wasn't. No, I was helping you.
Oh,
I was like,
thank
that's
you.
1. Yeah. So that's where that comes from.
Okay.
I thought it was funny. So does Norm.
Sebastian says Stash is getting close to Stu's there, bud. Tight.
I don't know if it'll ever be as close to Stu's. I don't know. I'm just looking at it right now. That's who we have next in the queue for post-game interviews. And just looking at it, Tommy, I mean,
Tee it up.
yeah, okay, let's just
go.
go. Let's just get right into it.
That up, buddy.
Here's Stuart Skinner with
There
the much better mustache.
You watched your group battle. Of course, you were battling in the crease, but in the way that they responded, especially in that second period.
Yeah, I thought it was. I think that's the reason why we were able to, slow the game down for ourselves, and that's the reason why we were able to come back and, get the win ultimately. I thought in overtime there were some big plays. Nuji made a glove save on that wraparound, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, there's so many big plays in there. So really proud of the resiliency in the group.
In the first period, you had a few big saves, several big saves, especially early. Did you find that was key to being able to build that momentum?
Yeah, I think anytime you're able to make a big save, I think it can give our team some confidence. It can also slow the game down a bit, kind of let us take a deep breath, and I think that's what we were able to do. And then again, we were able to just stick with it, even though the first period maybe didn't go our way, through the whole 20 minutes. But being able to come back and just calm down and know that we got this was huge.
Did that one diving blocker save kind of take you back to Riverbend? Growing up in Edmonton, playing road hockey?
Road hockey? I don't know, because maybe actually, yeah. I think when I was playing road hockey, I didn't know how to play goalie, so I was swimming a lot. But yeah, it actually reminded me of a save against Tampa Bay, and going into the third period, kind of remembering what happened and knowing that I learned from those mistakes. So it was actually something that reminded me of staying ready.
Go ahead.
Another goal and an assist for Connor. Like, the greatness he has, does it just kind of get routine seeing it night after night?
I see it, yeah. I mean, we see it every day. He's obviously an incredibly special player. I really like how he's been leading us. I think that's something that isn't thrown out there a ton, and I think the way that he is in the room with the guys, I think that's a big part of the reason why he is the way that he is. So there's a lot more to his greatness.
So just talking about your form right now, I mean, you're 10-2 in your last 12 starts. Was there a turning point for you personally this season that you kind of had to overcome in order to see the success you have now?
Yeah, I think I can't really point you out exactly the moment, but that's kind of, I think just being able to stick with it and persevere myself individually was really big for myself. There's a lot of things that goes into it. Seeing gratitude instead of thinking about all the bad things that's happening in your life. Thinking about your family and that you got loved ones with you at all times. So that really helped me a lot. And obviously being around this group, the guys never haven't lost faith in me. They believe in me, and that's been a huge reason why I'm still able to, have confidence in myself as well.
There's a smiling Stu Skinner, very happy, very humble as per usual, and making 26 saves on the night, picking up his 14th victory of the season. We're classifying this as he stole one game. Finally, he did it. YouTube, Trev, who's up next?
Yeah, up next, let's go to the game winner, the goal scorer, Derek Ryan.
Can you just take us through when you get that tap to go out for the shootout?
Yeah, Nauber just looked at me, said I was going, so just tried to settle down a little bit and make my reads and go through my checklist on the way in, and found a hole.
A little bit of a belated birthday present for yourself, of course, celebrating your birthday yesterday and now being able to capitalize on that today.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten lots of birthday love, so that's kind of nice. The guys have treated me well, and feels good.
Derek, your team obviously down 2-0 after the first period. You guys were outshot 16-2, 24 minutes into this hockey game. What was the reason or the difference here? What allowed you guys to kind of turn the tide at the 4-minute mark in the second period?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a distinct point, but I definitely think that through the first part of the game, the neutral zone was a speed bump for us. Their 1-3-1 was stymieing us. We weren't able to get pucks back on the forecheck. We were turning it over the neutral zone. So I think once we started rimming pucks and having a little more structure and then winning battles down low in their zone, we got some pucks back, created some offensive zone time, and subsequently create some momentum and built the game from there.
There's Derek Ryan scoring the shootout winner, also celebrating his 37th birthday yesterday, and a couple of nasty chat texts to get to before we hear from Chris Knobloch. Calvin says, call Skinner Wyatt Earp for a nickname. Skin Daddy for a nickname ain't the one. I've seen a bunch of Skin Daddy the last few days. Jesse Willis says, only his second season. He is mature for his age, well-spoken, 100%. Always has been, Jesse. But it's good to see other people getting a chance to experience that from Stuart Skinner. And then Vance Van Vandervan. I'm so glad you've joined the nasty chat, Vance Van Vandervan, because now everyone can enjoy the splendor that is your humor. Vance Van Vandervan says, Stu doesn't do push-ups. He lies face down, and his stash pushes the world away from him.
That's
brilliant.
I heard some people calling them Triple V, Vance Van Vandervan. I guess there's 4 V's in there.
Quad V.
Yeah.
That doesn't really flow either, but Vance Van Vandervan's actually pretty hilarious, and if you meet him in person,
funny guy.
So quite funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from the head coach, Chris Knobloch.
I've heard the term resilience used time and time again over the last few weeks. Was today maybe the biggest showcase of that, especially after the 24-minute mark?
Absolutely. In the first period, they wanted it more than us. They were prepared and won a lot of battles. We didn't have the puck very much. I don't think they made any. The Kings didn't make any mistakes. Couldn't get the puck back, and then we changed a little bit. Just were able to get pucks in the offensive zone, and nothing fancy, just a little more simple. And we spent a little more time in the offensive zone and created some scoring chances. But last 45 minutes, I was very happy with our team.
Maybe take us through the decision with going with Derek Ryan in the shootout and then ultimately burying his challenge. I don't know these players very much in the shootouts and that part of it. Just going by recommendations with Dustin and Stewie and Gully. Obviously, these guys know these guys a lot more. They've seen them in practice, have had time doing shootouts, and it was nice to see. And we were debating on that last spot, but it's obviously he made us look pretty smart making that decision. Connor said post-game that he's a leader in this dressing room and his voice carries a lot of weight in the group. What are your first impressions in the first few weeks of on the job of Derek Ryan?
Well, I'm a little biased because of where he went to school, obviously, but the guys have a lot of respect for him, and the way he plays very hard, and he digs in there, wins a lot of key face-offs, especially on the penalty kill on the right side, and I think just does all those little things. Not flashy and not the fastest guy out there, but a very smart hockey player and a player that coaches really appreciate. What's the latest on Banner Kane? Any chance he plays tomorrow? We hope he has. Just a nagging injury, but we certainly hope that he's available tomorrow.
What can you say about the effort of Stuart Skinner in goal tonight?
He's been playing really well. He made some really key saves, trying to think about when those saves came, but composed, made the big saves, but also very impressed at him moving the puck. The puck play makes it so much easier for our defense, gets the puck into our forwards' hands, and if you've got a goalie there that's just jittery and not feeling confident, giving it away, you spend a lot more time in the defensive zone. So obviously you see the big saves, but also as from the team standpoint, he's moving the puck out really well. So we're very happy with what he's given us.
As they should be. Chris Knobloch there, improving to 14-6 as head coach of the Oilers, relying on his assistant coaches to go with Derek Ryan in the shootout. And I think we heard a joke from Chris Knobloch.
It's weird.
I had to look at you. Did he make a joke?
He made a joke.
And a smile, too?
Smile. I heard a few laughs.
There's a reference to the U of A Golden Bears. Somewhere Bob Stauffer was just his spidey sense was tingling. Oh, U of A reference. And Great program, by the way. They're excellent hockey program over there. Stan Marple, Herbie, Ian Herber is out there looking for a bounce back next season. Faux show. Nice to see, too. Derek Ryan getting the winner in the shootout. All right. We have to get to a little bit of business, and then we will answer some texts, and then we will say goodnight because it already is New Year's Eve. It's Sunday. We've just crossed into Sunday, December 31st, the last day of 2023. What a year it's been, I'll tell you what.
Probably
Good riddance.
Best year of my life.
Really?
Easily.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It's been a tumultuous one for a lot of us here.
Yeah, I guess. It's been a
But
roller
you know
coaster.
what? Maybe we're coming out on the other side just fine.
Yeah, we are.
Feels like it.
Absolutely.
Yes. I like that, Trev. I like the positivity, pal.
Thanks, man.
Good. Very nice. All right, let's get to the player of the game brought to you by Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite. Damon, consistent, top producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community driven, Damon understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. YouTube, Trev, take it away.
Yeah, we're going to keep it nice and short and sweet tonight. We heard from him, Derek Ryan. You know what? He didn't do much throughout the whole game.
He had a solid effort for
He had a solid effort, and that's what
Whatever
you
he was out
expect, right? You expect a solid effort from Derek Ryan. Every now and then he chips in.
12:47 he
Yeah,
played.
yeah, that's an
With
honest effort.
one hit.
One hit. I think he got hit like 4 times.
He did.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yes.
you know what? He makes plays. He sacrifices his body in a lot of those plays because he's not the biggest guy, and that was kind of on showcase tonight. It's a good story, right? He went undrafted. U of A. It took him. It wasn't until 2015-16 when he finally played his first game in the NHL. And then I'm just looking 0 goals, 0 assists tonight, but he got the game winner in a shootout against a Pacific Division rival, a very good team. He, along with, Stuart Skinner and a few others, but he pretty well won it for him. If that doesn't go in, I don't know. We're probably talking about a loss, maybe? I don't know.
People are freaking out.
So it was a good call on the coaches, but ultimately, that's Derek Ryan's shot. He got the game changer, Damon Bunting, player of the game tonight. That'd be Derek, and happy birthday.
Oh, very nice, Trev. Very nice. A couple of texts to wrap. Get it in the nasty chat if you want to sneak one in, or 780-218-9999. Truman says, once again, the Oilers prove that, push come to shove, they are the better team. Ooh, I like that, Truman. I like that. To the inbox we go. Brad from Crossfield says, hey, that whistling from McClellan is his line change call. This text from Steve says, shout out to my wife, Michelle. Actually watched the whole game. First time. It's because I bought her a jersey for Christmas. Steve, nicely done, pal. That's how you get him on board. New fan in oil country. Very nice. Michelle, thanks for watching the game. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you caught some of the post-game show. Who knows? Steve, well done. Well done, sir. Dave says, Tommy, if they are thinking possible Kane trade, where will the toughness trash talk come from if you do play in LA playoffs or Vegas, Dave? Dave, that was just a hypothetical. That was I think Al just threw out some ideas there, and I rambled on like, hey, if a scenario popped up where they were in a situation where they needed to move on and they identified that they needed to move on from a significant contract, like a $5 million guy like Kane, I think he would be one of the guys that they would look at moving first, not a Nugent Hopkins. And obviously, he has a no trade clause. Or no movement clause. They probably, Hyman's on pace for 50. You're not moving him. Obviously, you'd like to get rid of Jack Campbell, but I think if there was a scenario where they would have to look at moving a contract like that, he would probably be at the top of the list. That's all I meant by that. The plan is for him to be a part of the team. Unless something crazy happens, they need him. They need that trash talk. They need that toughness and that goal-scoring ability. The swagger. So that's just to clarify, Dave. So that's where that thought process came from. All right. Reno says, YouTube Trev looks like a World War I fighter pilot. The Red Baron.
I'll take that. That's kind of cool.
Reno with some history in his text tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I actually kind of thought when I got this fresh haircut as well, I kind of looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh gosh, I look like I'm about to join the army with my stash. I think I had it gelled, so it was extra curly too. So yeah, it's kind of funny, but I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, World
I
War I fighter.
I don't know what it is with people
You need
telling
a
me what I
scarf
look
and
like.
Some goggles.
Like no one says
and a leather jacket.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe. Oh yeah, I'll figure something out.
Yeah. And then Eden says they're calling him Skin Daddy because of a recent clip of Draisaitl calling him Skin Daddy for the opening lineup.
Did you see that?
No.
Oh, I saw it.
I don't watch those things.
It was pretty cool.
You spend enough time around
Skin
those
Daddy.
guys, you're just like, okay.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Okay.
You've seen enough.
I've seen it enough.
Yeah.
I know those guys actually have personality when they're not on camera. Nice to see it leak into some behind-the-scenes stuff. That's good. I appreciate that. And the other thing, too, is Oiler fans are pretty quick to update you on that stuff. I know I can rely on them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think it was on their newest Oilers Plus, or like the Oilers Plus thing, and then like
I have not watched that.
Yeah, the next day it was just it was everywhere. So that's where that's coming from, Tommy.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate it. One more dip into the nasty chat. What are you crazies talking about? All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. That does it for the Oil Stream post-game show. Look at this, Trev. Jazzing it up. Oilers get the 3-2 shootout win over the LA Kings. They'll meet 3 more times with LA to wrap up the calendar year. They take on the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow, 6 p.m. face-off hour time. We are on the air for the Oil Stream pre-game show at 4:30. Myself and Mr. Red Baron, World War I fighter pilot, YouTube Trev, will be with you. Maybe Cass is good to go. He's sick. If not, Belzy, who is on standby, will join us yet again. Big thank you to everyone who tuned in, texted in. You know we love you. Thank you as always from all of us here. YouTube Trev, Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.